Good evening and welcome to this virtual candidate forum. My name is Ruvine Jimenez and I am a member of the League of Women Voters of Benton and Franklin counties. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that does not support or oppose candidates. In presenting these candidate forums, it is our goal to provide opportunities for voters to become better informed about the people who are running for public office. Tonight's forum has been pre-recorded in conjunction with the City of Pasco. After tonight, it will also be available for viewing through the League's Facebook page, the Badger Club website, YouTube, nwpb.org, as well as through the City of Pasco's website. The races we are featuring in our primary forums are the ones where 3 or more candidates have filed to run. Tonight, we will be hearing from the candidates who are seeking positions on the Pasco City Council Position 3 and Pasco School Director 5. These are all nonpartisan positions. At this time, I would like to introduce Tracy Dial, who will be our moderator this evening. As a popular KNDU news anchor, Tracy Dial is a familiar face in the Tri-Cities. Tracy is a Northwest native who received her bachelor's degree in communications arts at Lewis Clark State College in Lewiston, Idaho. She also began her career there, working in both radio and television, and even making some local commercials. Luckily for us, Tracy made her way to Washington Wine Country in 2012. She is the 2021 People's Choice Award winner, an honor she has won several times. And now let's welcome Tracy.
Thank you so much. I think my introduction goes over the time limit. I need to shorten that down. I am so appreciative that you are all here tonight, and I am so thankful we still get to have events like these, even if they look a little bit different. It is such important information, and you candidates work so hard to get here. So it's a good thing to be able to share that with people. So let's get started. Here are the rules for tonight. Each candidate gets 1 minute for opening statements. This will be followed by questions. All candidates in the same race will have the same questions, and each person will be given the opportunity to answer first. You will have 1.5 minutes for answers. Then for closing statements, you'll once again have 1 minute. A League of Women Voters volunteer, a member, Bev, has the signage for us. When you have 15 seconds left in your time, she'll hold up the 15-second sign. When it is time to stop, she'll hold up a stop sign. You do not have to abruptly stop talking at that time, but please do wrap up your thoughts. So let's begin by introducing the candidates in the race for Pasco City Council Position 3. They are in the order that they will appear on the ballot: Leo Perales, Irving Brown, and Nikki Torres. So Mr. Perales, your 1 minute opening statement, please.
Thank you. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to address you guys tonight. I'm running for Pasco City Council because I believe it's time for a new generation of leadership. It is important we retain our value of community and put our families first here in Pasco. Lower taxes, well-funded police and firefighter services, creation of affordable housing, implementing a post-COVID economic recovery plan to assist businesses after the effects of COVID, and addressing our transportation issues, such as Road 68, are my top priorities. This is why we need somebody with experience. As a former Housing Authority Commissioner for the City of Kennewick, our boards acquired funding for numerous housing projects, including the area's first tiny homes site for strictly homeless, for the homeless and veterans. My experience is bar none the most comprehensive out of any candidate. We need leaders who will push the envelope and not rubber stamp everything that comes across that comes through City Hall. As your councilman, I will make certain that we always maintain our small town roots, and I also believe in fiscal responsibility, and will work tirelessly so that when I look you in the eye, I can tell you that we use your tax dollars wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perales. Mr. Brown, you're up next.
Hello, everyone. I would first like to say thank you to the League of Women Voters for this opportunity, and to everyone on tonight. I'm running for City Council because I firmly believe in Pasco and the promise of its future. If elected, I will work to strengthen our city's economy with growth policies, that distribute development evenly across our city. I will find ways to save money in our budget without compromising vital services while maintaining a culture of equity, inclusion, and empowerment in our local government. Let's build our future together, and we'll work together, and be stronger together. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Torres.
Well, good afternoon. Again, thank you to the League of Women Voters and also anybody that's out there watching, becoming a more informed voter as well. My name is Nikki Torres, and I'm running for Pasco City Council District 3, Position 3. The most important reason I'm running is because I love the city of Pasco. For more than 40 years, Pasco has been my home where I built my life, my family, and my career. I have 2 beautiful daughters and 3 wonderful grandchildren who I want to have a great future here in Pasco. As your next city councilwoman, I will help Pasco with smart urban growth, which includes fixing our congested West Pasco streets and make sure everyone has an opportunity for home ownership. Using my experience in economic development, I will work with city officials to bring living wage jobs to our city by attracting new businesses and manufacturing. I will work with our school district and state legislators to make sure Pasco schools are funded and equipped to give our kids the best education possible. The people of Pasco are my priority, and I truly believe my role at City Hall is to be the bridge between both sides of Pasco. In my view, there is not an East Pasco or a West Pasco. There is one Pasco, and I promise to make the city the envy of the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. And a 4th candidate did not attend tonight's forum. That is Stephen Martinez. He will be on the ballot. Now it's time for question and answers. Mr. Perales, you will go first. And the first question this evening is, do you support a water park being built in Pasco? Why or why not?
I do support a water aquatic center here in Pasco. And that is something I was going to push as soon as I become on the city council. I believe it's past time that we have something like that here. It'd be a good way to increase tourism here in the city of Pasco. That's one way I would like to flip the way that we receive funds here in the city of Pasco. I want us to rely more on sales tax than on other forms of revenue that the city gets, such as property taxes and utility taxes. I want to be able to give people a tax break here in the city of Pasco. And one way to do that would be to increase tourism dollars coming into the city of Pasco. So that will definitely be on my docket of things to do when I do win this race.
Thank you, Mr. Perales. Mr. Brown.
It would be yes for me. It would be a wonderful opportunity here for Pasco. Again, we're looking at tourism dollars and ways to begin building, to work together to find other ways to strengthen the city of Pasco by working together. So again, yes. And along with that, it'll be a wonderful attribute to the city of Pasco, but it will require some much needed discussion on what that looks like long term. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Torres.
Yes, I'm also in favor of a water park. Definitely will bring tourism to this area, but as a grandmother, I definitely want to have my kids enjoying a water park that we have here in our backyard. I would definitely like to see that happen. And also, the city has been fiscally responsible and not raising sales taxes, and I think that they've done such a great job at that so far. And definitely coming together and having a public hearing so that the community can be involved in the water park would be one way to educate the community about it and to bring that forth.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Mr. Brown, you are up first for question number 2. Should Pasco provide affordable housing for its residents? And if so, how?
I think we should work together to have a great discussion about it. If the question is more direct, am I in favor of it? Yes, but there's many different ways to approach affordable housing. That will take a great conversation and how that will work, and how will we also be able to build straight line equity out of that. So the answer would be yes, but we would need to discuss that and look at our demographic area and see how we can be a blessing to them with this plan of great equity in Pasco, which I think is what's given Pasco life for all these years, about working together, an even line. If one can buy a house, why can't the other? But that's going to take a lot of great discussion. But yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Torres.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Should Pasco provide affordable housing for its residents? And if so, how?
Yes, I definitely believe that Pasco should provide affordable housing, and as well as housing affordability. We need, through zoning and permitting, we can do that. We need a diverse housing supply, such as condos, apartments, townhomes, even single family homes. We still have a need for that, including mixed use. That will really help with the growth that is going to happen and take place here in Pasco to accommodate the new population that's coming in. But yes, we need both affordable housing and housing affordability so that everyone from all different income levels can be able to afford their homes.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Mr. Perales.
Can you repeat the question one last time? It was kind
Absolutely.
of cutting out.
I'm sorry. Should Pasco provide affordable housing for its residents? And if so, how?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I have experience doing this. I was a Kennewick Housing Authority Commissioner. Again, I mentioned that in the opening. And it's just not about zoning. It's not about, creating a different land use map. It's also about flexibility with our zoning code and also getting with developers. We need to create incentives for developers. Right now, there's too many permits and fees on developers, and really they don't want to come in and build anything right now. We need to create a one-stop permit shop so that developers can go in there and know what permits and fees they're going to be having to pay, and also give them a good closeout date so that they can start building. I believe we need to create a commission that will look at permits and fees and put sunsets on those regulations. On my first 100 days, I want to see a housing and developer summit where we get everyone to the table and talk about how to create affordable housing. And I also believe we need to create a housing action plan. And with that, we can go after funding from the State Department of Commerce. We can go after low-income housing tax credits. We need to create a variety of housing here in the community, because by 2038, we're going to have upwards of 120,000 people. And the city is not doing enough. We need to get all the leaders together and start creating more housing for our community. And because the last thing I want to see is people get priced out of our community. And that's something I'm going to be fighting for when I'm on the city council.
Thank you, Mr. Perales. Ms. Torres, it is your turn to go first. And your question tonight: what is your vision for downtown Pasco?
That is a great question. I know that currently the city of Pasco has a comprehensive plan as far as their goal is to revitalize downtown Pasco by creating a bigger farmers market area and a facelift for the downtown businesses as well. And I really like that idea because it will attract also tourism down to downtown Pasco and attract more businesses. And I think that is a great plan that they have in place.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Mr. Perales.
It's a good question. I think with the improvements that they're currently making with the Peanuts Park, and they've done a couple things with the streetscape, those are good improvements, but it's been really neglected for a very long time. And I believe we need to start investing more into Main Street other than West Pasco, because that's how downtown feels. They feel like downtown is getting left out and everyone's focusing on West Pasco. Again, they've done a good job with the Peanuts Park, but we need to start engaging more with the downtown businesses, working with the DPDA and the Latin Business Association. We need to start, because really, I do talk to a lot of downtown business owners, and I'll be frank with you. I took a picture down of some city council members. A lot of downtown business owners didn't even know who they were. So that shows you that there's no engagement from the city council. And you saw that a couple of weeks ago during a city council meeting. They don't feel the love, they don't feel the support, and especially after COVID with a lot of businesses shutting down, we need to be engaging with them. We need to help them out. And one thing I would like to see is $2 million from the American Rescue Plan funds to assist those businesses in regards to technical skills, increasing broadband services. there's a lot of things we can do to uplift the downtown, and we need to start now, because that's one thing I want to see. I want to see downtown as a main tourist hub. When people think of Pasco, they want to go down there and spend their dollars.
Thank you, Mr. Perales. Mr. Brown.
I would ask if you would repeat the question for me.
My pleasure. What is your vision for downtown Pasco?
My vision for downtown Pasco is to continually see the improvements that are already in process. But in adding to that, I would like to see some more diversity downtown Pasco, where it shows the complete city of Pasco. What does it really look like when a visitor comes and they're downtown Pasco? Do they get to see the real true look of all of Pasco, every district, every ethnicity that's in Pasco, and to see us unified and all working together? And there's a lot of back talk that needs to happen to make that come into play, but being very much in touch with the business owners downtown. I would love to see council members walking about, visiting the stores and saying hello and seeing how you are and having those face-to-face conversations with them, because when this is all over, we're still residents and we're still the same people that walk in, that purchase from them, but we need the relationship with them to really revive downtown Pasco. The relationship, I think, is a little weak, and it's just a breakdown in communication, but with a little visitation and some love, I think what I want to see in Pasco is going to be a wonderful, vibrant place to go, where you can identify with every area of downtown Pasco, wherever you may go. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Now it's time for closing statements. Again, we'll go in the same order as opening statements. So, Leo Perales, you're up first.
That was quick. The fun's already over. Again, I just want to take about 10 seconds and I just want to highlight Marilyn Perkins. She was a dear friend of the league, and I got to know her over the last couple of years. Always, asking me about my family, and I just want to give her some love, and we all miss her. But in closing, we need representatives who have political courage. We need someone on council who will fight so that our city and county retains its value of community. It's imperative that we have leaders who have real experience dealing with affordable housing, long-range planning, community policing efforts, and building community. It will never be about me, only you, and the continued fight to ensure that our government stays close to the people. I want to thank the League of Women Voters, and God bless.
Thank you, Leo. Irving Brown, you are up next for closing statements.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. And my closing is just, again, if we can really take time out and look at every district in Pasco and begin to start a building process, that's going to be a huge blessing to everyone in every district, which means District 3 to take care of. So I would love to see us sit down at a table and really develop Pasco for the beauty that it does have. If we can just come together and be one and united in one, I would be a very happy resident in Pasco. And my excitement is having an opportunity to run. Oh, that's my first time, and being a potential council member here for Pasco, being a voice for those who may not have a voice, but we're going to build together, whether seat taken or not taken. We're going to build together and make a beautiful Pasco. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final candidate in this race, Nikki Torres.
Thank you. So I would say that I'm looking forward to helping the city of Pasco grow and helping them prepare and plan. As I mentioned earlier, we are growing by 40,000 more people, and we need to be prepared for that growth. I will help with the urban growth, affordable housing, and also attracting new businesses and manufacturing to our city. And the Dairy Gold will be bringing, the new Dairy Gold that's coming in will be bringing much needed jobs and also revenue for the city. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you to all of you candidates for taking part tonight. Again, all in the running for Pasco City Council Position 3. A fourth candidate who was not able to attend tonight is Stephen Martinez.
Good evening and welcome to this virtual candidate forum. My name is Ruvine Jimenez, and I am a member of the League of Women Voters of Benton and Franklin counties. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that does not support or oppose candidates. In presenting these candidate forums, it is our goal to provide opportunities for voters to become better informed about the people who are running for public office. Tonight's forum has been pre-recorded in conjunction with the City of Pasco. After tonight, it will also be available for viewing through the League's Facebook page, the Badger Club website, YouTube, nwpb.org, as well as through the City of Pasco's website. The races we are featuring in our primary forums are the ones with 3 or more candidates have filed to run. Tonight, we will be hearing from the candidates who are seeking positions on the Pasco City Council Position 3 and Pasco School Director 5. These are all nonpartisan positions. At this time, I would like to introduce Tracy Dial, who will be our moderator this evening. As a popular KNDU news anchor, Tracy Dial is a familiar face in the Tri-Cities. Tracy is a Northwest native who received her bachelor's degree in communication arts at Lewis Clark State College in Lewiston, Idaho. She also began her career there, working in both radio and television, and even making some local commercials. Luckily for us, Tracy made her way to Washington wine country in 2012. She is the 2021 People's Choice Award winner, an honor she has won several times. And now let's welcome Tracy.
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. So once again, we'll just go over the rules of engagement for tonight's forum. Each candidate will have the opportunity to give a 1-minute opening statement. This will be followed by the question and answer period, where each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer the question. All candidates in the same race will be asked the same question, and each person will be given the opportunity to go first. Then we will have closing statements, which again will be 1 minute. So let me introduce you to the candidates for Pasco School District Position 5. They are in the order in which they'll appear on the ballot: Michelle Andras, Amy Freeman Phillips, and John Kennedy. So, Ms. Andras, you are up first with your opening statement.
Thank you. I believe that I want to thank you for putting this on for everyone to listen to the candidates, and I'm very happy to be here. I do believe that I am the candidate with the best experience as an educator, as well as an admissions counselor, and broader experience in both government and business. I have a broader range of experience and expertise that is going to be needed in the fastest growing county, as well as meeting the challenges still facing us from COVID. And I was asked to run because of my unique expertise, and I ask that you listen tonight and ask questions and explore any other concerns you have. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Andras. Ms. Phillips.
Hi, my name is Amy Phillips. I was born and raised in Franklin County and have lived here a lot of my life. I have 7 children. I'm passionate about children. My service, everything in my life has revolved around children. I graduated in mathematics education, and I have 7 children of my own. We've been foster parents to 13 children. We've had 4 children graduate from the schools in the Pasco schools, and we currently have 3 still in the schools. I currently serve as a substitute teacher. I'm a business owner and a small business owner, and I've also acted as general contractor on 5 different houses. We have been extremely successful in these last 8 years that I've been on the board, but there's more work to be done. And I feel that it is critical that I continue and finish this work. One of the things that we really are focusing on is our college readiness and career and technical education. I want to finish what we have started. There's so much we can still do.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Mr. Kennedy.
Good evening. My name is John Kennedy, and I'm running for Pasco School Board Position number 5. From a young age, I wanted to be an historian. I have a decade of experience teaching history at the college level. I am a history instructor at CBC and WSU Tri-Cities, and the Economic Recovery Coordinator at the Benton-Franklin Council of Governments. I am running to apply my knowledge and helping our board set policy and allocate resources necessary to serve all our children. As a college professor, I have seen the learning challenges some incoming freshmen and running start students have, and we can address these challenges as a collaborative team. Career or college readiness requires that students have tools necessary for success and a healthy emotional and social well-being. I will work with anyone, regardless of point of view, and will listen to parents, students, district staff, and my fellow board colleagues when making student-centered decisions. If this is leadership you want on the school board, then I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Now for our first question tonight, Ms. Andras, you will go first. What can the board do to help ensure that students improve any learning deficiencies as a result of the last 2 years?
Well, most of what I've been talking and listening to parents is testing. And most of the curriculum that comes into school has its own testing in it. But after reviewing many different types of tests, including Compass and that are used by community college and onward, the one test that really tests your subject matter is the Iowa Basic Skills Test. And they test all grades. There is a source, it's only $2.50. It's affordable. And I think it would really give us a litmus test of whether our curriculum and our students are really truly prepared and compare it to the national level. And so we need to start there as a benchmark and then begin to design programs, and including online and in person, to make sure that those kids are being covered. There are discrepancies with communication. And so I would definitely want to have children reading when they're coming out of kindergarten. I've had 2 schools, one right here in Pasco. It's a private school, but there's no reason public school cannot have children reading coming out of kindergarten. And instead of phonics awareness, have the phonics so that different languages can talk to each other. There has to be a base. And then I would really like to see those proficiencies met by 3rd grade instead of 4th grade, because 4th grade children are already making up their decisions, and it's very hard to catch up by the time 5th and 6th grade and they transition into middle school.
Thank you, Ms. Andras. Ms. Phillips.
That is a great question. It's one that has been on my of great concern to me lately. I have really researched this, and because our kids, we have so many kids that are low income, that struggle in our district, that it is critical that we help these kids, because those are the kids that were hit hardest during COVID. The year before COVID, 7 of our schools were recognized for growth and excellence, and we need to continue that trajectory. And so one of the things that we are doing and will continue doing is a program called AVID that helps our children with organization and study skills. It helps them to be able to propel themselves forward and do better more quickly. And it's something that we were just getting into all of the schools before COVID hit. And it's a great basis to have our kids really excel. Another is our state of the school addresses that we also implemented the year before COVID. They have been excellent ways to help hold our schools accountable. We go to each and every school and they tell us what we are doing through certain metrics. So we know how the children are doing and how they're testing. And the schools are excited to tell us this. They're excited to show us growth. Through this tool, we hold schools accountable, but we also give them support. And when schools are held accountable and they have the support of the district behind them, they can do incredible things. And that's exactly what we've seen them do and what we expect them to continue doing.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Mr. Kennedy.
Well, COVID-19 has certainly increased the disparities that we see in our school district. There are students who did very well and succeeded during this past year on online education. Some and other students struggled. And later in the fall, the school district will be assessing where our students are, and those results will give us an idea of how much acceleration and additional instruction we need to do for the next summer to help our students who are struggling and who fell behind this past school year get back on track. I think it's really important that the school board communicate and work with our parents from across our community and in our various areas of our city and our district, and making sure that the school district is working with them and providing them with the necessary educational tools to help their children get back on track if they fell behind this past school year. I think it's really important that we focus on core skills and making sure that our students are learning the transferable skills necessary for success at the college level, but also in the careers. And so I think by collaborating with the school board collaborating with our district staff, our superintendent, our parents, and our students, that we can assess where we are for this coming school year and set policy, which is the main job of the school board, that will address any disparities among our student population.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Second question tonight, Ms. Phillips, you will go first this time. Should more be done in the local school curriculum to include the perspective of Native people, contribution of Chinese Americans to the railroad, African Americans to the Manhattan Project, and Latinos to agriculture, etc.? Why or why not?
I think it is critical that we give our students an education in the history of all of America and all of the history of America. So absolutely, we need to make sure that happens. We need, and one of the things that we do have in place is policy that helps us to review this curriculum on a very regular basis. That review helps us to make sure that we are getting these critical things into our school district and into our curriculum. There are so many things in history that should be included. And some of the things that you mentioned, do need to be included as well. We can't give a biased history from one point of view or from another. It is critical that we give a history of our country as it played out through the point of view of all of the people that make up the melting pot of America.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Mr. Kennedy.
Tracy, would you mind repeating that question, please?
Absolutely. Should more be done in the local school curriculum to include the perspective of Native people, contributions of Chinese Americans to the railroad, African Americans to the Manhattan Project, and Latinos to agriculture, etc.? Why or why not?
Well, in a word, absolutely. We absolutely have to do that. And as a college history instructor, this issue is important to me because when I design the curriculum for my courses, having the voices and the experiences of our diverse state and our diverse country as part of our story is very important, and important for our students to learn as well. In the past, the history of the United States, the history of Washington State has been taught in various ways that have not included the voices and the perspectives of all our various communities. And I think that we've made really great progress over the years, but we've got more work to do. I think that this issue is really about equity. It's about making sure that communities that have been historically marginalized are given a voice in our classrooms, that our students understand the struggles of our African American community, of our Asian American community, of our Native American community, all communities that played and contributed so much to the Tri-Cities and to Washington State and to the United States. And the issue of Asian American Pacific Islander rights and addressing Asian hate has been in the public discourse over the last several months. And I think focusing on the contributions, the achievements of our Asian American Pacific Islander community, and as well as other communities, is really important to help foster solidarity and community involvement engagement for all groups. So absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Ms. Andras.
Thank you. I love this question because when I grew up in school, in elementary school, we studied Lewis and Clark. I was in Idaho at the time. And so the state history was started right there in elementary school. And my hero was Sacagawea. I remember wearing ponytails like she had. I had a poncho. And those stories are very real. And this should be started as a part of the progression of understanding where we've come from and where we're going. Every single person, no matter where you come from, has contributed to this country. And in my view, it should already be in place. We also need to help children understand that part of history is government and civics. And there used to be trips to Washington, D.C. or your state capital right around 8th grade and understanding how a bill is made. Every single, and he mentioned Asians. I have an adopted cousin from Korea. And she has found her voice here, but she's been very concerned about losing that voice. And there was a letter written regarding some of the recent, and I'm sure you'll get to some of these issues about, dividing us, and it should be uniting us. That's what America is about. So I do believe with Juneteenth, there's some local efforts, but it does need to come together and reflect Pasco. It needs to reflect Washington State, and it needs to reflect the United States with every race, every person and their contribution. It should be already there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andres. Mr. Kennedy, you'll go first next time. This time. The subject of critical race theory has been on the national scene lately. According to the June 21st editorial in the Tri-City Herald, it says, quote, contrary to a surge of misinformation online, there is no new law requiring Washington State Public Schools to adopt the controversial critical race theory curriculum. A state law approved last April does require a professional training day for school district staff that focuses on topics like diversity, equity, and inclusion with the intent of creating a sense of belonging for students. What are your thoughts regarding this new training requirement for teachers?
Well, I support it. I definitely support diversity, equity, inclusion training for our teachers and for our district staff. And this is also spelled out in Senate Bill 5044, which is state law. Our student body comes from diverse backgrounds, and these diverse backgrounds influence how our students learn and how they interact with one another in the classroom and how they process information. And I believe that DEI training can help our teachers, our educators, and our district staff understand the experiences of our students and how to navigate their learning needs. I think that this training can make our teachers even stronger as educators. But I think it is also really important that our students feel safe in the classrooms, that they feel safe in our schools. And diversity, equity, and inclusion training can help create a safe learning environment. That is the number one priority of mine when I teach my classes, is that my students feel safe to express their ideas and to engage in critical thinking. Where education can take place. It can only really take place when there's a safe environment. So I think that with our teachers understanding this, they can provide a sense of security for our students so they can thrive and have their learning needs addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Ms. Andres.
Well, I also come from a news background, so I always go and research things, and I watch some of the training videos, and I have to say I think it needs to go back and be redone. It comes from a fairly dark perspective, and this is such a beautiful community. We are already very well mixed in. I mean, I have great-grandchildren that are Hispanic. My daughter is Hispanic, and I have a Thai grandson, and they do feel safe here. Our teachers do a very good job of that. There does need to be sensitivity, though, when there's a crisis, and that's part of where this is coming from. And that's more, in my view, from my training in communications, more of a communication issue. When there's a traumatic event and people relate to that event, and it doesn't really preclude what color you are, there needs to be a repair. But when people are very upset, we also need as educators to understand what's happening to what's going on in our mind and emotions. In the back of our mind is the emotional part of our brain. And you can be Einstein, but when there's a triggering event, your judgment part of the brain is not active. And so we have to decatastrophize the event, go back into the limbic part of the brain in the middle, and begin to have mediation when events happen, such as they did in May in the Pasco School District. And so I think I would start there and then create race sensitivity and that window of tolerance that each person has. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andres. Ms. Phillips.
Diversity and equity and inclusion is something that has been on our board's agenda for the past few years. It's something that we really believe in. We believe that we as a school district should embrace diversity. Why not? We have a huge population of Mexican Americans and quite a large population of Russian Americans. That diversity brings a depth to our district that isn't seen in a lot of Washington, and we absolutely should embrace that and use that to our benefit. We also should give every single child the opportunity to embrace their dreams, to reach their potential. And that's what equity is all about. It's about taking every child and helping them reach their personal potential. And some kids need more of a lift in that, and some kids need less. But it is our responsibility as a school board to make sure that happens. And of course, we need inclusion. Our kids need to feel like belong. They won't learn, they won't reach their potential unless they are included, unless they feel like they are cared for, loved, and belong. We introduced a thing called outrageous outcomes as a board to really propel our district forward. A lot of it was on student achievement, but the fifth goal is on that inclusion piece. It's all about connecting with parents or coaches or kids or whomever. That is a social emotional piece that is so critical. And that inclusion piece is something that we have to teach through all of our schools. Kids aren't always kind, and we can teach them to embrace that diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Great job for all of you. It is now time for closing statements. We'll go in the same order as we did for opening statements. And once again, you'll have 1 minute. So, Ms. Andras, you are up first.
Thank you again for this evening. I have a full-time availability to address these issues. These are coming faster and more furious. And I believe that my fellow candidates have other occupations. I have full time to designate to inclusion, to better testing, to better outcomes. And I think that that is the best fit for Pasco and the needs that they face right now. I appreciate both of my associates that are applying for this because it means they're passionate about our community. But I'm the only candidate that has full time and does have the background of making students more prepared when they come to college. And I think that this community is probably one of the best communities for having catch up and moving forward and leading this area with student graduation and success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andras. Ms. Phillips.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm certainly grateful to be here. We do have more to do. It is important. And I have no doubt that I am the best candidate for this job. There is so much that we have been successful in student achievement, transparency, and community voice. I have stayed true to my promises that I made 8 years ago. And I continue with that work, and I propel that work forward with great passion. I have children that are both highly capable and special needs, which uniquely puts me in a place of compassion. But my education background and my involvement in business and with our children in various different service opportunities has given me a unique way to help our children know what they need. My background as a teacher helps me to understand teachers. I understand parents. I understand business. This makes for a perfect marriage in helping me be uniquely capable to serve on the school board. We need mothers on the school board. I am the only mother on the school board right now, and it is an important role, and I am grateful to be doing it, and I need to remain on there to finish the work that we are continually doing.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this important candidate forum. I believe that the continued success of our wonderful community tomorrow will be dictated by the academic success of our young people today. Our entire community, parents, students, teachers, district staff, and board members all have to be a part of the process in the education of our young people. If you want an experienced teacher and collaborative and open-minded leader who will be an advocate and voice for all students, then I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And once again, thank you all for showing up this evening and for sharing your thoughts on these important issues. Once again, your candidates for Pasco School Board Position 5, Michelle Andras, Amy Freeman Phillips, and John Kennedy.